On the body of the patriarch of the Xiang family, veins and blood vessels writhed beneath the flesh, as if remnants of a struggle. Only the area around his chest, where a multitude of blood vessels crisscrossed, revealed a dark red heart the size of a fist. This heart beat fiercely, but instead of life, it exuded a thick aura of death. His blood-red eyes locked onto Wang Lin, filled with fury and an undeniable trace of fear. A powerful aura, the fifth decay of heaven and man, gathered and spread from the body of the patriarch of the Xiang family, forming a massive vortex around him. This vortex swirled with deathly energy, producing an eerie symphony of wails, as though it contained countless tormented souls screaming within, all directed at Wang Lin. Yet, despite the patriarch's eruption of the fifth decay of heaven and man, his power was still weak and no match for Wang Lin. Ignoring the deathly vortex created by the patriarch's aura, Wang Lin descended from the ravine, stepping into the swirling vortex of death without hesitation. The moment he entered, the vortex rapidly began to retreat, as if it feared Wang Lin, being forcibly pushed away. As Wang Lin drew near, the patriarch's fear deepened. His right hand shot up to his chest, and with a violent tap, a series of low growls erupted from his mouth. With that tap, the deathly energy within the patriarch's body reversed course, and he used his powerful art, the seventh night technique, to forcibly turn the death energy into life force. His decaying body began to rapidly heal. But before the technique could fully take effect, Wang Lin closed in to less than 3 meters from the patriarch. In the instant of his approach, Wang Lin casually raised his right hand and pointed forward. With 2 loud explosions, the patriarch's arms instantly shattered, turning into rotten flesh and scattered blood. A sharp pain hit him, and the patriarch's body was sent flying backward, completely leaving the coffin. But before he could retreat more than a few meters, Wang Lin's cold gaze followed, and with a second flick of his finger, he struck again. Thunderous explosions rang out as the patriarch's rotting legs exploded simultaneously, and his body was pulled forward with tremendous force, hurtling directly toward Wang Lin. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. In an instant, the patriarch, now limbless, was grabbed by Wang Lin by his bald crown. Without wasting a single moment on conversation, Wang Lin activated his soul search technique, diving into the patriarch's mind to find the answers he sought. You dare kill me. My Xiang family is a branch of the ancient Donglin family, and I, Donglin Tai, am a member of the side branch. How dare you kill me? The patriarch's eyes, filled with terror, blazed with madness as he shrieked in a high-pitched voice the moment Wang Lin began his soul search. You destroyed Donglin Star and slaughtered tens of thousands of its inhabitants. Such actions have violated the decree of the Donglin family, and you will not die a peaceful death. Not only will you die, but everyone you care about will be utterly destroyed. You dare kill me. Enough. Wang Lin's expression remained calm. The moment he spoke, a powerful force surged through the patriarch's body, instantly crushing his form, which collapsed backward. All that Wang Lin held was the patriarch's head, and he continued his soul search. But at that moment, Wang Lin's gaze flickered, and as he gripped the patriarch's head, he glanced up at the sky outside the ravine. Suddenly, golden light pierced through the sky, spreading rapidly in all directions. In an instant, a golden gate appeared with a tremendous roar. On this golden gate, 2 ancient characters appeared, a surname that had existed in the Luotian star domain for countless ages, even before the 4 great star domains were unified. Donglin. With the appearance of this gate, a vast pressure surged outward from it. As the gate slowly opened, golden light poured forth, and a towering golden figure, thousands of meters tall, stepped out. This golden figure, bathed in shimmering light, was unmistakably a giant clad in golden armor, its body incredibly solid as if it truly existed. Your Excellency destroyed Donglin Star, committing the crime of slow death. You slaughtered the cultivators of this star, committing the unforgivable sin of soul annihilation. You harmed members of the Donglin family, committing a heinous crime. 3 crimes combined, and your entire family must be eradicated. The booming voice of the golden-armored giant echoed as it raised its right hand. Golden light flashed, and a massive golden sword, 1,000 meters long, materialized and sped toward Wang Lin in the ravine. Kill if you must, but don't waste time with such nonsense. Today I, Wang Lin, kill. Those who try to stop me, all will die. With a squeeze of his right hand, the head of the patriarch of the Xiang family instantly exploded. Wang Lin leapt into the air, and as the golden sword descended, he raised his right hand and pointed forward. This finger contained the force of Wang Lin's Tao ancient power, his cultivation base, and the primal essence of thunder and fire surging forth. With a loud boom, it collided directly with the great sword. Wang Lin's eyes flashed with a cold light, and the moment his finger struck, a blood-red glow flashed beside him. It was the blood sword, shooting forward with a fierce howl. The golden sword began to violently tremble as it made contact with Wang Lin's finger, bursting apart in a violent explosion. It shattered into pieces and was sent flying in all directions. Even the golden armored giant's body shuddered, its steps halted, and it staggered back. At that moment, the blood sword came whistling towards them, passing straight through the retreating golden armored giant. A deafening roar followed, as the golden light within the giant's body exploded, collapsing along with the great sword. The entire sky was bathed in gold, and with the collapse of the giant, a figure emerged beneath the massive gates in the sky, a man in a golden robe. The old man's face was slightly pale as he coughed up blood, his eyes filled with shock. Wang Lin's strike had shattered his illusory god art, forcing him to reveal his true form. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he rose from the chasm, gazing at the golden-robed elder. This elder's cultivation had already surpassed the 5th decay of heaven and man. Like the legendary Lingdong sage, he had 1 foot in the 3rd step. Enough killing for today. I, Wang Lin, wish to leave. Will you stop me? Wang Lin flicked his sleeve, his white hair flowing in the air. A majestic aura emanated from him as he slowly spoke. The golden-robed elder's expression grew complicated as he stared at Wang Lin. After a long pause, he clasped his hands and said in a deep voice, "Your cultivation is profound and beyond measure. I have no power to stop you. But you have killed members of my Donglin Star tribe and destroyed Donglin Star, violating our tribe's decree. I will report this to the Elder Council, and they will decide on the matter." Wang Lin's expression remained unchanging. If the Donglin Star cultivators did not try to stop him, he would not have killed them. How could he allow them to attack without defending himself? That would be absurd. If no one offends me, I shall not offend others. Be careful. Wang Lin coldly glanced at the elder, not responding to his words, but instead focusing on the partially opened golden gate behind him. Turning, he took a step toward the starry sky. In an instant, ripples spread, and Wang Lin's figure vanished into the heavens. Only after his departure did the golden-robed elder lose control of his internal injuries. He spat out several mouthfuls of blood, and his chest was soaked in crimson stains, spilling out blood. His face was deathly pale. Under Wang Lin's finger and sword, he had been severely wounded, teetering between life and death. Even now, thinking back, he felt a chill in his heart. A sigh came from behind the elder, and as the light twisted, a figure emerged from within the gates. A middle-aged man dressed in golden robes. "Why did you not intervene?" The elder clutched his chest and turned to look at the middle-aged man. Before the patriarch entered seclusion, he said that if Donglin Star were destroyed, my Donglin clan would come into the world. This is a tribulation for our Donglin tribe. Moreover, this person has already discovered my presence and can even speak warning words. He is not simple. The middle-aged man shook his head, staring in the direction where Wang Lin had departed. Our cultivation is similar, and neither of us has truly stepped into the 3rd step. Even if I had intervened, I doubt I could have stopped him. But my cultivation technique is unique. I can sense some auras that you cannot detect. From him, I felt the presence of 2 great powers. Judging from your brief battle with him, the strength he showed was likely only a fraction of his true power. How can I fight such a person? Let's go. Our tribe's people are few. Right now, only the 2 of us have awakened. As the middle-aged man spoke, his expression shifted, and he, along with the golden-robed elder, suddenly turned to look behind them. From the half-open gates came a terrifying aura, rumbling toward them. Both men's eyes lit up with joy. Without hesitation, They stepped into the gate and disappeared. The golden gate remained motionless in the heavens, undisturbed. Inside the gates was a world encased in ice. This was a separate realm, but everything in sight was sealed in ice. Even the clouds in the sky had turned into icy wisps. Numerous floating stone continents were sculpted into ice statues. Giant ice icicles hung down like deadly blades. In the center of one such icebound stone continent sat a woman. She was stunningly beautiful, but exuded a cold aura. Her body was sealed in ice along with the continent. But at this moment, her eyes suddenly opened wide. In the instant her eyes opened and closed, star points unexpectedly materialized at the center of her brows, slowly rotating as a vast ancient god aura surged outward. At that moment, the two golden-robed cultivators strode into this frozen world, speeding forward before respectfully standing upon the land where the woman resided. "We respectfully welcome divine elders' emergence," they spoke in unison, suppressing the excitement on their faces. There was also a heroic air within her features, making her distinctly different from ordinary women, exuding a unique and captivating charm. As she gradually opened her eyes, it seemed as though galaxies swirled within them, making anyone who gazed into them feel utterly lost, unable to break free. Crackling sounds echoed across the fragmented ice-covered continent, and the ice began to split inch by inch. In the end, the entire continent's icy layer shattered with a deafening roar, splintering and exploding outward in all directions. The woman took a deep breath, and the rotation of the ancient god star points at her brow suddenly accelerated. Boundless ancient god power surged from her brow, flooding through her entire body in an instant. After a long while, a sharp gleam burst from her eyes. Her seemingly delicate right hand clenched into a fierce fist, and thunderous rumbles erupted from her palm, reverberating in all directions. At the same moment, the star points between her brows suddenly halted, revealing 7 vividly clear purple stars within. 7-star ancient god. A female 7-star ancient god. With the revelation of her ancient god identity, it seemed that everything that had happened before now had a clear explanation. Why was Xizi ordered to head straight for the moon-gazing beast? Why was Wang Lin completely drained of life by the patriarch of the Xiang family on Donglin star? The life force stolen was the life force of an ancient god. Although Wang Lin didn't know every detail, as he journeyed through the Luodian star domain's starry sky, clarity dawned upon him for the most part. From the patriarch of the Xiang family's memories, Wang Lin learned that the patriarch had originally drained his life force for selfish desires tied to his cultivation technique. The patriarch had never intended to let Wang Lin leave alive. In fact, from the moment Wang Lin stepped onto Donglin star, the patriarch had sensed a trace of his clan's lingering resentment within Wang Lin. By savoring this resentment, the patriarch identified which clansman it belonged to. Even if the resentment hadn't been present, the patriarch of the Xiang family would still have devoured Wang Lin's life force. Despite not yet having merged with his true self, Wang Lin's soul connection revealed such an immense vitality that it stirred the patriarch's greed. Yet, just as he was about to drain Wang Lin dry and kill him, an ancient divine sense from the Donglin clan intervened. That divine sense carried such authority that the patriarch dared not disobey. He abandoned his plan to kill Wang Lin on the spot, and, following the command within that divine sense, channeled Wang Lin's soul to siphon endless ancient god vitality from his true body. Through soul searching, Wang Lin had uncovered all of this. With his intelligence, connecting it to Xizi's past actions, he began to deduce many things. Ancient Donglin clan. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed as he glanced back into the distant void. There are ancient gods within this clan, but I wonder if they are eternal beings or inheritors like I was. Wang Lin fell silent for a long moment before withdrawing his gaze and continuing forward. My warning has been delivered. Do not provoke me. Of the 4 matters I need to settle, 2 are already done. Next comes the third, the Yao family, and the blood god. Wang Lin's expression remained calm, though a murderous glint lingered in his eyes. That blood god once hunted me. Had it not been for Brother Qingshui, my clone would have perished both in body and soul. How could I ever forget that? Furthermore, there seems to be an ancient demon presence within the blood god. My ancient demon clone now desperately needs ancient demon power. Also, though I didn't make a promise to that woman from the Yao family, I still left behind a karmic bond in her dream realm. Now it's time I resolve it. Wang Lin's figure slowly disappeared into the distance. Donglin's star lay in ruins. The Xiang family and all its branches were utterly annihilated. The deafening roars that had spread from Donglin's star throughout the entire Luotian star domain were soon known to cultivators across Luotian on a vast scale. Donglin's star, known as the #1 ominous star of the Luotian star domain, had long been infamous. Its collapse and destruction sent shockwaves through the hearts of all Luotian cultivators. At that moment, in the southern region of the Luotian star domain, a squad of about 100 cultivators raced forward in silence. Among them was a female cultivator. She no longer looked young. Her appearance showed the passage of time, the face of a middle-aged woman bearing the marks of the years as she silently moved among the cultivators. Despite her middle-aged appearance, traces of breathtaking beauty from her youth still lingered faintly, a remnant of former grace and charm. All of this, of course, was assuming her face wasn't marred by the terrifying scars that now struck the eye. The scars concealed everything. Dark red marks crisscrossed what should have been a beautiful face, like deep ravines, leaving only hideousness and horror in the torn flesh. Anyone who gazed upon it would feel an unpleasant stir in their heart, not wanting to come too close. These scars were not something that ordinary spells could erase. They were self-inflicted over years, reopened again and again after healing, slowly becoming engraved into her very bones, etched into her primordial spirit, becoming eternal. Her cultivation base was not high, only at the Yang fulfillment stage. A deep weariness and confusion emanated from her, like a soul worn down by time. Her family had nearly been wiped out in the Alliance War. Only a handful survived. Even her beloved ancestor was gravely wounded in that battle and perished in the ancient god ruins on Vermilion Bird Star while trying to save her. The entire family crumbled. After the war, exhausted and severely injured, she returned to Luotian. But her family had fractured, and the clan was no more. In the depths of her sorrow, tears fell as she gazed at the dissipating remnants of her family, leaving silently. She quietly practiced alone in the Luotian star domain, becoming a woman without a home. A woman trying to survive in the chaotic post-war Luotian star domain. How grueling that process must have been. Though she still had a few family friends, those bonds quickly faded with time. Back then, she was young, still possessing an exquisite beauty. Many sought to possess her beauty, and many promised to elevate her cultivation. A delicate woman had little hope of surviving without suffering humiliation, especially with her beauty, which only attracted more attention. Like Lu Fian from the Cloud Sea Reunion sect, but here in Luotian, she was far more decisive. She destroyed her own beautiful face, cutting off all the prying eyes. Beauty often leads to a tragic fate, but if beauty turns to ugliness, perhaps that fate no longer holds. She had not forgotten her wish from years ago, to become a female cultivator as powerful as her ancestor, to stand tall in Luotian and carve out her own world. But that wish seemed more and more distant. In her heart, if not for a particular figure, she might have already become someone else's cauldron, trading her body for the chance to continue cultivating and for protection. But that figure's presence prevented her from going down that path of disgrace. She did not want to fall. Even though that person might have long since forgotten her existence, even forgotten her name, she still remembered. She could never forget that figure from the Thunder Immortal realm, a not-so-tall silhouette leading many cultivators through the collapsing immortal realm, seeking an escape. She could never forget that figure, battling fiercely with the defenders of the Thunder Immortal Palace's formation. And she could never forget, during the Battle of Immortal Ceiling, when that figure rose like a thunderclap, becoming the Thunder Immortal. Although at that time, perhaps that person was unaware of her presence among the watching cultivators, unaware that when they rose, her heart swelled with joy. 800 years had passed. Every time she thought of those memories, she would feel both heartache and a surge of courage to keep struggling, powered by that figure in her mind. The past was like smoke, flashing like scenes in her mind. Not long after, a cultivation star, radiating powerful spiritual energy, appeared ahead. The group of nearly 100 cultivators halted in front of the cultivation star. The leader, a middle-aged man, had an expression of quiet arrogance. His gaze swept over the cultivators behind him, and when it landed on the woman, a hint of disdain appeared on his face. Most cultivators cherished their bodies, as it was the foundation of their cultivation. Many searched for ways to preserve their bodies, seeking methods to delay aging, even if immortality was unattainable. But someone as ugly as this woman was rare. Moreover, her cultivation was only at the young fulfillment stage, with no family backing her, just an insignificant wild cultivator. She could be bullied at will. Xizi Feng, use your primordial spirit to shake this star's trajectory, the middle-aged man commanded. His cultivation had reached the mid-glimpse of Nirvana's stage, and his tone carried an undeniable authority. He had known her for a long time, once one of those who had admired her beauty. But the more he saw her now, the more uncomfortable he felt, especially when faced with her ugly appearance. Shaking a cultivation star's trajectory required using one's primordial spirit to stir its movement. This process, when the star's trajectory was disrupted, would send out a backlash, causing significant harm to the primordial spirit. Xizi Feng remained silent, her hideous face slightly pale. After a long pause, she respectfully cupped her fists and spoke in a hoarse, soft voice. Lord Emissary, I was the one who shifted the trajectories of the previous 3 cultivation stars. But my primordial spirit is still wounded from that. Is it possible? Before Xizi Feng could finish speaking, the middle-aged man furrowed his brow and let out a cold snort. Xizi Feng trembled, bit her lower lip, and fell silent. Without another word, she turned and walked toward the cultivation star. Among the nearly 100 cultivators behind her, some revealed sorrow in their eyes, though all they could do was sigh silently. Nearly 1,000 years ago, the Shi family wasn't one of the top clans in Luotian, but they were still a powerful force. And now, this direct descendant of the once prominent Shi family, Xizi Feng, once radiant and full of life, has ended up like this. Fate truly toys with people. Xizi Feng is a rare woman of unyielding spirit. What a pity, what a pity. There's nothing to pity. Cultivation is cruel by nature. After the Great War, many ended up worse than she did. Her tears had long dried up over these past 800 years. Slowly, her cultivation base began to circulate. A gentle radiance spread from her body, and a strand of her essence spirit floated out, transforming into a wisp of divine sense that shot toward the cultivation star ahead, a planet now long abandoned, devoid of mortals or cultivators. In that instant, her divine sense connected with the cultivation star. Her face pale, she clenched her teeth and forcefully yanked her divine sense outward. The cultivation star let out a deep rumble. Its slow rotation halted for a moment under the pull of her divine sense. But in that momentary pause, a violent counterforce erupted, indescribable and overwhelming, slamming into her divine sense. Xizi Feng spat out a mouthful of blood. Her divine sense, unable to withstand the backlash, was torn apart in an instant. Pale as a sheet, she staggered back dozens of feet. Her essence spirit surged again, forming another thread of divine sense that lunged toward the cultivation star for a second attempt. The violent rumble echoed again. The cultivation star shook violently, and faint signs of a shift in its trajectory appeared. However, the backlash this time was even fiercer. With a deafening roar, it exploded outward, obliterating her divine sense once more. This time, the collapse shattered her divine sense completely. Her essence spirit was severely wounded and forced back into her body. Blood sprayed from her mouth as her body trembled, struggling to remain upright. Her face turned ashen, even the light in her eyes dimming. Useless trash, the middle-aged emissary from the Thunder Immortal Palace scoffed coldly. He stepped forward, brushing past Xizi Feng. With a flick of his sleeve, his divine sense surged toward the cultivation star. With a low shout, the star trembled and slowly began to break free from its eternal orbit. "Shift the star," the middle-aged man shouted, arms raised as if gripping the entire cultivation star in his grasp, pulling it backward. The 100 cultivators didn't wait for further orders. As soon as his voice rang out, they rushed forward. Silver threads of light shot from them, linking with the cultivation star, and forming a massive silver net that wrapped around the planet. Together, they pulled. Only one elderly cultivator, as he passed by Xizi Feng, sighed softly. He took out a bottle of pills from his storage pouch and quickly handed it to her. Fellow Taoist Xizi, I too was once brought out of the Thunder Immortal realm by him, he said quietly as he walked past her. Xizi Feng silently accepted the pill bottle, a trace of gratitude flashing in her eyes. Inside were precious Luotian pills, accelerating her healing. Over these 8 centuries, those who had once been family allies of the Shi family were far less helpful than those who had been led out of the Thunder Immortal realm by Wang. Without them, her path of cultivation would have been even harder. What are you standing there for? Get over here and help shift the star. Trash is trash, pretty face or not, you'll just end up ruined. If you had agreed to my offer back then, would you be in this situation now? The emissary sneered. Emissary, fellow Taoist Xizi, is also a member of the Thunder Immortal Palace now. While her cultivation may not match ours, her status is the same. She's still recovering from moving several cultivation stars. Must you press so hard? Let her rest a while, will you not? The old man who gave the pill finally couldn't hold back and spoke up. The middle-aged man's eyes flashed coldly as he turned to the elder. Do I need your permission to carry out my duties? The elder, only at the early glimpse of Nirvana stage, instantly felt an overwhelming aura press down on him under the man's gaze. But he gritted his teeth, raised his head, and replied with a cold smile. You of all people should know how fellow Taoist Xizi once had deep feelings for him. Would you have dared act like this back when he was still here? At those words, a murderous glint flickered in the middle-aged man's eyes, and his heart trembled. He knew exactly who the elder was referring to. That man, the one from the Battle of Immortal Ceiling, back then, even when only at the Yang fulfillment stage, was already a figure worthy of reverence. He didn't even dare to show the slightest disrespect in front of that person, especially after the battle in the Alliance Star Domain, when that person had risen to prominence and gained fame across the 2 major star domains of the Luotian Alliance. His name was known far and wide. In front of him, this middle-aged cultivator felt as insignificant as an ant. He has long since left, or perhaps even died. Before the middle-aged man could finish speaking, the old man coldly interrupted with a sneer. What if he's returned? This sentence made the middle-aged man fall silent. After a long pause, he snorted, swung his sleeves, and shouted, Enough talk. Xizi Feng, and you, hurry up and move the star. The old man glanced at the middle-aged cultivator, said no more, and joined the others in moving the star. Xizi Feng remained silent, giving up on continuing her healing. She stepped forward, gritted her teeth, and sent out her divine sense, transforming it into a silver thread that pulled the cultivation star, slowly flying forward along with the others. The middle-aged cultivator was at the front, his expression dark. He was disturbed by the old man's words, and his mind grew uneasy. What if he's returned? This sentence echoed in his ears, lingering for a long time. The group of nearly 100 people, under the rumbling sound of the moving cultivation star, slowly flew forward, gradually getting farther away. However, not long after, a figure in white appeared in the starry sky ahead. This figure had white hair flowing in the wind as it walked slowly through the void. Though it seemed slow, every step the figure took crossed an endless expanse of stars. To the others, it was like a flash of white, followed by a feeling so suffocating, as if a mountain was pressing down on them. In an instant, that feeling disappeared, and the white figure vanished before them. All of this happened in the blink of an eye, too fast for anyone to react, like an illusion. Everyone's bodies trembled, their eyes filled with astonishment. The middle-aged cultivator at the front was stunned for a moment, and his mind was overwhelmed with shock. Before they could recover from their shock, a soft sound of surprise reached their ears, seemingly drifting from the starry sky. When the sound landed in their ears, it immediately caused a roar in the minds of the nearly 100 cultivators. Each one's face changed drastically, and they all stepped back. Xizi Feng shivered all over. Though the sound was just a gentle to her, it was as if the heavens themselves were collapsing, and her heart and soul trembled intensely. Instinctively, she wanted to raise her head, but she held back, lowering it even further, retreating behind the other cultivators, unable to explain the complex emotions within her, trying not to be seen. As the soft sound of surprise reverberated, the figure in white that had vanished earlier suddenly reappeared in the starry sky before them, its gaze sweeping toward them. Under that gaze, no one could make out the figure's appearance, as if the person in white was a sun itself, radiating immense light that made them afraid to look directly at it. The middle-aged cultivator at the front, his mind reeling, felt as though everything around him had frozen. Even his essence spirit was suppressed deep within him, not daring to move a single inch. It was as if that gaze was tangible, gripping his neck and essence spirit tightly. With just a thought from the other, his physical body would explode, and his essence spirit would be wiped out. This was an existence beyond their comprehension. Forefather, the middle-aged cultivator, with the highest cultivation, was closest to the white figure. At this moment, his body softened as he bowed his head and knelt in the starry sky, his voice trembling, as if trying to say something. The figure in white was Wang Lin. Wang Lin hadn't intended to pay attention to these cultivators, but in that fleeting moment, he seemed to sense someone among them, a woman he had once encountered, who had developed feelings for him back then. If this woman were still the same as before, Wang Lin would not have stayed. But seeing what he saw now, a pang of pain struck his heart. Under his gaze, the group of cultivators had already dispersed, leaving only one woman standing there, lowering her head, her face pale and her body trembling. Looking at her, though she kept her head down, Wang Lin could clearly see the hideous scars on her face. He fell silent, staring. Xizi Feng bit her lip. After 800 years, she had thought her tears had long run dry, never to fall again. But today, in that instant, 2 lines of clear tears streamed from the corners of her eyes, tracing down her cheeks. But instead of running straight, they followed the deep scars on her face, changing direction. She wanted to hide. She didn't want him to see her. It was a complex emotion, one completely different from the woman she had once been. She would rather grow old alone, until the moment of death came, than allow that person to see her in such a pitiful state, with her ugly appearance. Tears continued to flow, her head deeply lowered, her body instinctively retreating, as if to hide to the ends of the earth, to the furthest reaches of the starry sky, to a place where no one could see, silently touching her own memories, silently wiping away tears that had long since lost their feeling. Xizi Feng. I am Wang Lin. Wang Lin looked at the middle-aged woman retreating before him and spoke softly. He had forgotten the year, the month, the day, when, beneath that bright face, a smiling, playful face had gazed at him from the crowd. That face, slowly aging, slowly filled with sorrow, gazing at his face. The moment he spoke his name, nearly 100 cultivators around them trembled violently, especially the middle-aged cultivator at the front, whose face instantly drained of all color. It seemed even his heart had stopped beating. His primordial spirit shattered under the weight of that name, and his soul was torn apart, scattering in all directions. Wang Lin, once a name that resounded throughout Luotian, a name known far and wide. I am not Xizi Feng. Senior, you've mistaken me. The retreating woman's voice trembled, with no more retreating to be had. She bit her lip and spoke softly. Such a woman could be gentle, could let go, but could never forget. The injuries within Xizi Feng's body were clearly visible under Wang Lin's gaze. These injuries were to her primordial spirit, and after multiple assaults, they had become chronic and difficult to heal. It was evident she had just suffered another heavy blow to her primordial spirit. Just now, how was she injured? Wang Lin's gaze swept over the nearly 100 cultivators before him, finally settling on an elder. The elder looked vaguely familiar, as if Wang Lin faintly remembered that he was one of the cultivators he had led out of the Thunder Immortal realm many years ago. The elder, feeling Wang Lin's gaze, showed fervent excitement and enthusiasm. Many of those from that group of cultivators had been grateful to Wang Lin all these years. With Wang Lin's name having risen to prominence hundreds of years ago, it had made them even more fervent and respectful. Benefactor. The elder's voice trembled as he deeply cupped his hands in a bow. The middle-aged man who had been kneeling at the front, an emissary of the Thunder Immortal Palace, trembled violently. His primordial spirit quivered, his eyes filled with despair, and he instinctively turned to look at the elder. His eyes were full of intense pleading, but as the elder spoke his next words, his hopes shattered. It was as though he heard the sound of the world itself collapsing, a deafening roar resounding in his mind. It's him. If not for him repeatedly making things difficult for Xizi Feng, her primordial spirit would never have been so severely injured. The elder pointed directly at the middle-aged man kneeling in front. Zhou Tsongyun, you're spitting false accusations. I am an emissary of the Thunder Immortal Palace, and I have the authority to command every one of you. You are talking nonsense and slandering me. What is your intent? The middle-aged man, overwhelmed by fear, suddenly found strength and stood up, retreating hurriedly. His face was filled with anxiety as he shouted, Senior, do not listen to this man's slander. Everything I've done was for Luotian's battle preparations. I have never made things difficult for Xizi Feng as he claims. I knew her when I was young. How could I? The middle-aged man, in his haste, quickly retreated, quickly moving over 100 feet away. Wang Lin, with the same cold gaze he had used when destroying the remnants of the Xiang family on Donglin Star, turned to face the retreating middle-aged man. Who was right and who was wrong, Wang Lin could tell with a single glance. To bully a weak woman, you deserve to die. Wang Lin's eyes glinted with cold, killing intent. The more Xizi Feng retreated, the lower her head, the more deeply it impacted Wang Lin. 800 years had passed. Things had changed. Last night, a beautiful face appeared in a dream. Today, the face, hazy and distant, filled Wang Lin with a melancholy sense of time slipping by, of old friends slowly fading away. Staring at the middle-aged man retreating with an expression of overwhelming fear, Wang Lin's eyes flashed with cold light, and his right hand slowly rose. You cannot kill me. I am an emissary of the Thunder Immortal Palace. I act under the orders of the Thunder Immortal Palace to prepare for battle. My life is bound to the Thunder Immortal Palace's decree. If you kill me now, you will be making an enemy of the Thunder Immortal Palace, obstructing Luotian's war preparations. Not only are you an enemy of all Luotian, but you are also an enemy of the 4 great star domains, who are now uniting for the Great War. I am not highly cultivated, but I am a force to resist the invasion of the outer realm. I fight for the glory of the inner realm. I am willing to give my all. You cannot kill me. Even if you must kill me, grant me a chance to fight the outer realm so I can die on the battlefield. The middle-aged man, retreating, quickly shouted every excuse and reason he could think of. In his youth, he had been adept at words and prided himself on his sharp tongue. Now, in the face of imminent death, that skill erupted with full force. Die on the battlefield. I would have no regrets. I don't want to die in this mistake of Luotian before I've even burned my life. I am at fault, but my crimes do not warrant death. If you must kill me, then grant me another 100 years, so I can fight for the inner realm. For an ordinary cultivator, hearing such words would surely stir their heart, perhaps even make them relent and let the man go. His speech carried an air of unyielding righteousness, brimming with a resolve to sacrifice himself for the inner realm. In truth, this middle-aged man had spent his entire life reaping great benefits with his sharp tongue. Even the title of Thunder Immortal Palace Emissary had once been his to claim, bartered through his silvered words. But this time he faced Wang Lin. After a lifetime spent navigating schemes and facing cunning hearts, Wang Lin saw through him instantly. Every word the man spoke was nothing more than hollow rhetoric. Wang Lin's right hand lifted slightly and then fell gently. In that moment, the middle-aged man, who had retreated hundreds of zhang away, let out a shrill, despairing scream. His body convulsed, and with a series of dull bangs, blood mist erupted from every pore. In the blink of an eye, he had become a figure drenched in crimson. That wretched woman has wronged countless others over the centuries. Why kill only me? If you truly have the ability, then kill them all. With this final roar, the middle-aged man's body exploded with a thunderous boom, his flesh and soul obliterated, scattering into the endless starry sky. To kill a glimpse of Nirvana cultivator, like crushing an ant. Silence fell all around. Even the old man from before stood frozen in shock, his heart pounding wildly. Though they had already sensed Wang Lin's terrifying might, To witness with their own eyes a glimpse of Nirvana cultivator erased with a mere wave of the hand left them trembling with fear. Wang Lin's icy gaze swept over the nearly 100 cultivators present. With a single step, he moved forward, so swift that, in an instant, he vanished into their midst, Xizi Feng among them, disappearing like a phantom. Far off, a streak of gentle radiance shot through the sky, transforming into a pill that hovered before the old man. Take this pill in seclusion. Comprehend the soul of the ferocious beast within it, and your cultivation will grow. From the pill surged a wave of dense primordial energy, so rich that a single breath left the old man's spirit soaring, as if he had meditated for months. Within the Luotian star domain, on a half-abandoned cultivation star, snow drifted down from the heavens, blanketing the land in white. In the northern region, atop a mountain peak clad in snow, the world lay silent. At the summit, Xizi Feng stood with her head lowered, her face deathly pale. Tears brimmed in her eyes, yet she forced them back, remaining silent. Before her, Wang Lin gazed at the woman, his expression complicated. With a faint sigh, he raised his right hand and gently waved. Instantly, a soft current of primordial energy flowed into her body, merging with her essence spirit. Under his control, her injuries healed in an instant. Xizi Feng shuddered, bowing her head even lower. But the energy did not dissipate after mending her wounds. Instead, it surged toward her face. A series of crisp cracking sounds echoed as the jagged scars marring her cheeks. The wounds no ordinary cultivator could ever heal, shattered bit by bit. Carried by the snowy wind, the fragments flaked away. Gradually, beneath the swirling shards, a delicate and beautiful visage emerged, almost unchanged from years past, save for the faint traces of time. The enchanting woman of old stood before him once more. Though still a maiden, her features bore a subtle air of maturity, like that of a seasoned woman. Xizi Feng raised a trembling hand to her smooth cheek. This time, the tears could not be stopped. 800 years ago, she had destroyed her own face with her own hands. Never had she imagined that, after 8 centuries, the man from her memories would restore her beauty. In my lifetime, I have taken only 2 disciples, one named Xie, the other 13. Will you become my third? Wang Lin's voice was calm as he looked upon the drifting snowflakes, letting them fall upon his shoulders. Xizi Feng's body quivered. Silent still, but her tears flowed freely now. Wang Lin said no more. He waited for her answer. He was not a man without feeling, yet he could no longer bear the weight of everything. He could restrain himself from loving another, but there were things in this world he could never control. He could not stop the affection this woman bore him 8 centuries ago, nor could he erase the enduring devotion she had held through these long years. Compared to Li Qianmei's choice to forget him in the rivers and lakes, Wang Lin could not bring himself to speak such ruthless words to this fragile, pitiful woman named Xizi Feng. Between man and woman, there were countless paths to take. Time flowed gently as snow thickened, falling like a curtain before them. A tender smile graced Xizi Feng's lips. For the first time, she lifted her head, gazing deeply at the figure behind the veil of snow, as if to etch it forever in her heart, merging it with the shadow of the man she had known long ago. Slowly, she knelt. With this kneel, the past of 800 years was severed. With this kneel, a karmic bond was fulfilled. With this kneel, amid the bitterness, Xizi Feng also found a sense of release. She knelt in the snow and whispered, "Disciple pays respect to master." 2 final tears streamed down her smooth cheeks, falling onto the snow-covered ground, merging with the layers of white and forming a few deep tear-shaped hollows. But those hollows were soon covered by falling snowflakes. "Come with me," Wang Lin said softly. "My home is in Luotian." Xizi Feng replied in a low voice as she rose to her feet. Wang Lin remained silent. After a long pause, he raised his right hand and pressed lightly into the void. In that instant, a surge of immense primordial energy poured into Xizi Feng's body. While propelling her essence spirit forward, he also shared with her a portion of his lifetime of enlightenment, just enough for her to absorb, letting it circulate within her. Under the motion of her essence spirit, Xizi Feng's cultivation base instantly broke through the yang fulfillment stage and soared directly into the glimpse of Nirvana stage. But the art of power transfer didn't stop there. It continued to surge forward until it forcefully elevated her cultivation all the way to the pure Nirvana stage. Only then did it gradually cease, transforming into 3 seals that suppressed her rapidly enhanced cultivation base, so that she could comprehend and digest it slowly. Even with Wang Lin's current level of cultivation, performing such an art of power transfer was still immensely difficult.